Mike, we like to have fun with our guests, especially when it comes to their fandom. Sometimes at their expense. We have fun with Jason Johnson all the time when it comes to his Seahawks, and Ashley Nicole Moss when it comes to all things New York. So when I saw this last week, I was like, oh yeah, we're gonna have some fun rubbing it in Ashley Nicole Moss's face about Kyrie Irving saying that he and Kevin Durant almost kind of sort of went to her Knicks back in 2019, but then Emmanuel Quigley and Obi Toppin decided to show out on the last day of the regular season. I'm like, if I'm Ashley Nicole Moss, I ain't even tripping. Like, I'm feeling pretty good about the future at Madison Square Garden. So I'll ask you, like, after seeing the finish on the part of New York's own Obi Toppin and the way he's played in place of Julius Randle, and seeing Emmanuel Quigley show out, I know it was the last game of the season and everybody's ready to go to Cancun, but looking back at this next season, disappointing, but how hopeful are you for the future?
Very hopeful. I mean, look, the Knicks weren't going to be an instant success this season, despite the success of last season. I think that's just what happens with the growing pains of any team. Of course, you don't expect the team that was a fourth seed to drastically decline like the Knicks did. So that was a disappointing factor. But I think the silver lining in all of this is it has given the young core much needed development time and much real time experience, especially towards the later games of the season. And, it's exposed a lot of the things that need to be corrected. I think sometimes in the mist and all the chaos, positive chaos of a successful season, a lot of things kind of go under the radar, right? You think you're a lot better of a team than you may actually be when it comes down to the logistics and the foundation. And I think that was exposed this season. I think that everybody kind of got a piece of the blame pie, whether it was Julius Randle, whether it was Tibbs, whether it was the front office. And now everyone has to take a real hard look in the mirror and say, this is the team we really are. There's a lot of promise, but in order to get to the team we want to be, there's a lot of work that needs to be done. And it's not just one easy fix or one person that's responsible for doing it. It's got to be a collective effort. So hopefully not making the playoffs lights a fire under a team and gives them the much needed chip going into next season. And hopefully the changes that have to be made are made. And this is a team that we see in the postseason this time next year.
See, you love the Knicks so much. You have allowed yourself just kind of glide by that headline. You could have had Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant in Madison Square Garden in 1973. Was a long time ago. Hey, Willis Reed and Clyde Frazier and Earl the Pearl. That was a long time ago. You could have had that elusive Larry. Come on now.
I'm gonna quote Stephen A. Smith right now. I'm gonna tell you right now, we don't care. Let me tell you this. We don't care. New York Knicks fans.
I don't buy it.
New York Knicks fans are tired. I'm gonna tell you right now. New York Knicks fans are tired of hearing what could have been, what should have been with Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. They made their choice. They didn't want it to be in New York. They didn't, or the Knicks rather. They didn't want it to be in the Garden.
That was a Freudian slip.
Wow. Wow.
That was a Freudian slip.
They wanted to go ahead and cross they wanted to cross the bridge and go to Brooklyn because the Knicks quote unquote weren't cool and they quote unquote weren't relevant. And they wanted, what they thought was going to be the easier chase to a championship, whatever. And also, if you ask Kevin Durant, he says he was never going to the Knicks. So who even knows what's true and what's not true? At this point in the year 2022, New York Knicks fans and the New York Knicks fan base don't care about Kyrie Irving. They don't care about Kevin Durant. They don't care about what could have been. They don't care about what should have been. The franchise had its own problems. The franchise had its own fans. The franchise had its own stars that the fans can go ahead and rally around. The Knicks' future is bright. Nobody cares about what's going on in Brooklyn. They got their own problems. We got ours. That's it.
When she start breaking that out, and how y'all do it, just like that's when you know. That's when you know she's serious. I knew that was your answer. That's why I didn't even go there with you.
You know what? But Mike, what's so tripped out about it is that you said, Ashley said, cross the bridge to Brooklyn. I mean, it's right down the street. If you're in Manhattan, you go right down the street and you kind of jump for a second. You're in Brooklyn. It's right there.
It absolutely is. But you know what, though? Only one team has played at the same address. We never left New York City. I'll tell you that much. We were never in enemy territory and came to the Empire State and tried to go ahead and claim New York. We've always been in the city. Everyone knows where to find us. We've been at the same address.
So needless to say, you are not living vicariously this postseason through the Brooklyn Nets. How far do you see them going? I think the Simmons ship long since sailed. This idea about optimism, he's coming back. Nash said otherwise, but and even if he does, like you're gonna debut Ben Simmons with a new team in a playoff environment, I was like, good luck with that. How far do you see the Nets going though in these once they presumably emerge from the play-in? Presumably.
It's interesting because if this were last year, I would say a lot further, but I think the East is so much more competitive and it's just so much wider open for the taking. And I think that when you start talking about teams like Milwaukee, when you start talking about teams like Miami, teams that are deep from their bench to their starters, it's very hard to give a team, yes, with Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant, who I think is the best basketball player in the world right now. I've said that before. Kevin Durant is the best basketball player in the world, but he's not the only person on that team. And I think for me, as someone who watches basketball religiously, it's hard for me to go ahead and take star power over overall depth of a team. Milwaukee is an extremely deep, they're an extremely talented basketball team from top to bottom. Same thing in Miami. I'm not saying that any team that faces Brooklyn is not going to be challenged. It's definitely not going to be a cakewalk, but I can't go ahead and make Brooklyn the favorites over two teams like that. Now, if they face a team like the Cavs, which is the play-in, obviously I give Brooklyn that edge. It's not going to be easy for them either. I think that Cavs team is a little bit of a wild card themselves, but there are just some teams I have a hard time giving that edge to Brooklyn to.
I know. I see the stats right there. I just thought about this because I'm making the same mistake, and I think I'm going to say it's a mistake because everybody's doing it. Everybody's saying, okay, Brooklyn's going to be the 7. Brooklyn's going to be the 7. It's almost like Cleveland is not there. I know the stats. Jared Allen, all-star, has been out, and they really are not the same kind of team. But do you see any scenario in which Cleveland pulls this game out tomorrow night on the road, win by 3 or 4 points?
Of course. Okay. And, you know, I hate regular season stats when it comes to the play-in and the play-off because that doesn't matter. The regular season is officially over. Nobody cares. So, like, for me, I'm looking at a Cavaliers team that is a wild card. I think that you don't know what that team is going to make you work. Now, again, in that scenario, I give the edge to Brooklyn because ultimately, whether it's just one player or two players, you know, they happen to have two better players than I think a lot of the guys on the Cavaliers team. And that makes a difference when you're talking about a one and done situation. If this were a series, would I still give the edge to Brooklyn? Probably, but it wouldn't be a cakewalk. It wouldn't be a sweep. I think that people are sleeping on this Cavs team. It's going to be a lot harder for Brooklyn than I think people are anticipating. I still have Brooklyn winning, but it's just not going to be a blowout. I think that Cavs team is a lot more solid, a lot more deep, and a lot more creative offensively than I think people are giving them credit for.
You know what would be wild? If the Cavs, if Michael's Cavs beat the Nets, and then Trae Young hushed the Barclays Center crowd this year. Like he basically just like crushed through, walked like Snoop
New York.
Came through and crushed the buildings.
New York Hurricane.
Did it to MSG last year, right. and then hushed the Barclays Center this year. I'm sure.
It'd be an interesting storyline, that is for sure.
Wouldn't it though? Let me ask you about one of your other New York teams. That is the Yankees. How much, if at all, are you concerned about Aaron Judge turning down $27 million a year, whatever it was, and looking like he's headed toward free agency? Any concerns on your part?
I'm not concerned at all. Listen, what did Fat Joe say? Yesterday's price is not today's price. Aaron Judge knows that at the end of the day, the Yankees cannot afford to play the free agency game with him because they can't afford to replace him. There's not a billion Aaron Judges just walking around, the free world that you can go ahead and say, you know what? Yeah, you can walk. We're going to get, Aaron Judge 2.0, out of Cleveland. He doesn't exist. So I think Aaron Judge knows that, and he's willing to go ahead and call the Yankees bluff. Why would you take money less than what you can get in free agency. This is not a guy who's easily replaceable, like I said, and he knows that, his team knows that, and he's thinking the long game, not the short game, because I guarantee you, going into free agency, the Yankees will bend over backwards to go ahead and keep Aaron Judge, and he knows that. So the asking price is going to be drastically different when that time of year comes around, and that's smart, because look, at the end of the day, whether it's in a Yankees uniform or not, Aaron Judge is going to get paid. The Yankees just better hope that he gets paid in pinstripes and not a different uniform, because the only people that are going to be looking crazy in that situation are the New York Yankees, and the fans are going to be looking at the New York Yankees front office like, what the hell did you guys just do? And Judge knows he has all the power, so I'm not concerned at all. I'm concerned that the Yankees might try to like play a game with him that they'll lose, but right now I'm not concerned.
As a Yankees fan, Ashley, just overall, how much fear do you have of the Boston Red Sox? Just wondering.
Fear or hate? I think you gave me the wrong word.
Both. Fear
the word is hate.
Hatred and fear.
I don't fear the Red Sox. I despise the Red Sox. It's a drastic difference. Like that's how I root. I don't fear them. I just despise them. So that's what it is. I was not happy the other night. Yeah, wasn't a good time.
I tell you what. Aaron Judge, Fenway Park, I can see it.
No.
I mean, look, if the Yankees aren't going to pay him, the Red Sox might give him a $35 million a year contract.
I'll tell you one thing, Michael, you've never seen a riot like a riot that you would see if that were to happen. You thought the riots in New York after the Knicks won a couple playoff games or won a playoff game, you thought that was a crowd and that was chaos? Let Aaron Judge go ahead and put on a Boston Red Sox uniform and watch what happens. It's going to be mayhem. They don't want that to go down. The Yankees will get the deal done. Trust me. That would be chaos.
I think you're right. I'm just teasing. Yeah. I agree with you.
Well, it's an awesome green top, stylish as always. It reminded me, like, we'll have you back to talk about the Celtics as they roll through the playoffs. I'm sure you're dying to talk about that Boston team, right?
That's more of Amina's territory. You call Amina for that one. You don't call me to talk Boston Celtics.
Hey, thanks for watching Brother from Another on YouTube. Make sure you hit subscribe before you leave, and be sure to watch us 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Peacock. Appreciate you.